Hey Jeff, it's Sweet Sounds here, and we've got another nice treat to show off today. Good customer Bert brought down this beautiful, almost new Ranger Reata 2050 MS. Of course, Ranger builds some of the best boats on the water, and this one's no different. This is an absolutely incredibly well-built boat. Great design on this thing. But one thing Ranger does a really terrible job of is put in a nice audio system in it. So Bert brought it down to us, and we sat down, we had a consultation, we talked about what he wanted out of this thing, how he uses it, both fish and ski, of course. Wants something that's going to work for the family. They're out floating around, but he wants something that sounds good on the water, whether they're doing 40 across the lake or they're just sitting around floating around. So the original audio system only has two speakers, and they're located there and that speaker down there. And then it has a standard Infinity audio head unit on it. And the audio, the head unit on this one is actually good enough to take care of our aftermarket system. But we basically improved everything in this other than changing out the actual Infinity head unit. So what we did was we removed the one set of factory speakers and we put 3 sets of the Memphis Extreme Audio, the MXA 60s, including the LED lights on these ones. For power, we went with the brand new Rockford M5. That's their element ready, marine grade 5-channel amplifier. So we have the front half of that amplifier runs the 2 speakers up here in the bow. The rear half runs the 4 speakers in the rear towards the stern and at the console area, and then the 5th channel runs the subwoofer, and the subwoofer in here is a Memphis Extreme Audio 12-inch. So a lot of detail in this boat, so we're going to take a little time and kind of talk about this. So there's a couple different speaker locations you could have went with in the front of this thing. One option would have been up here. You got a bit more of a curve at that location, so we actually decided to go right here. But we didn't want to just stick the speakers on top of that existing vinyl. So what we did was we actually removed this entire panel here. We took the vinyl off of that panel. We then cut a hole in that panel and we rewrapped it. And then we cut a hole in the plastic behind that, and then in the fiberglass behind that, so that we could install our speaker in there and get it recessed as far as possible. It actually ends up being pretty flush as far as that goes, and when you're sitting in this area, it's not uncomfortable at all. Works fantastic, really looks like it belongs there. And then of course, because we don't want the front waves and the rear waves interfering with each other, we put a little blocking plate in here which keeps all of that all of their energy from the rear waves, the rear sound waves, behind the speaker and not interfering with the front. So sounds absolutely fantastic all the way around. So that's what it took to do the front speakers in here, both sides. Just the same, nice flush, looks fantastic, and they're very secure. Of course, there's gaskets throughout on that, so it's going to be weatherproof, and we don't have any air leaks or anything on it. So from there, let's go ahead and swing around. This location here had one of the factory Infinity speakers in it. We removed that, so we had matching speakers throughout. And that one there, it required a little bit of work to get these to fit in there, but nothing too serious as far as resizing that. Let's talk about the speakers in the rear. Now, there were no speaker locations back here at all. One of our goals anytime we're doing audio systems as boats is so that we can have speakers about the same distance away any place you're sitting in the boat. So if you're sitting in this chair here, those speakers are about equal distance. The front speakers are about equal distance to the front seats, and up on the bow, the speakers are right by up there. So it works out really slick. Same thing over here. Of course, we have to make sure that these seats still fold up, which they do. It's tight, but perfect. So you still have access to everything you need to as far as that goes. And being that there's no holes to begin with here, of course, we have to drill all the way through that fiberglass. We have an oversized bit with a big drill to do that. Then we mount everything up and seal it all up, and it works out really, really well. And then the last speaker we have to talk about is going to be the subwoofer. So originally, this location in the boat holds a kind of a storage pocket, right? It has a little latch on it, and you can flip that latch, and the storage pocket will pop out. He wasn't using it for anything, so it actually worked out really well to build a fiberglass or a baffle board for our subwoofer. So what you're looking at is 1.5 inches thick. It's 2 layers of 3/4 expanded PVC. We formed that to fit the boat. Very, very tight all the way around. It's about 1/16 of an inch as far as all the way around. We had to round over the back edge of that thing so that the curve on the back edge of our panel matches up with the curvature of the fiberglass. Of course, fiberglass is never square edges. It's always going to be rounded over as the transition goes. And then we use stainless steel fasteners throughout. You can see those here all the way around. And then a seal on the bottom, and that works out really, really well all the way. And then the last thing to show off, of course, is the amplifier. And the amplifier is that Rockford amplifier, and we mount it up above here. It's actually mounted on another 3/4 inch piece of plastic, and then that is all bolted down, and that goes in behind where the woofer is. Very nice, neat, clean wiring throughout. Standard marine colors, works out really well. Then, as I mentioned, we did hook up the lights. So this boat already had some interior lights into it. So those same lights now control our speakers along with the original lights. So there's some lighting along there. We tied in our speakers along with that. So we got a really good look on everything all the way around. And of course, all 6 speakers on the subwoofer light up, and even in a very brightly lit install bay like we have here, you can see them very well. So last but definitely not least, let's go ahead and fire this up. So when I turn on these louder stereos, we like to do a pretty full volume demo on it. Of course, you're not going to be able to hear me. What happens is my phone will actually transfer over to concert mode so that it doesn't get all distorted, but I'll keep talking as I turn this up, and I'm going to talk at my normal volume, and you'll notice as this gets louder and louder, you're not going to be able to hear me at all. The stereo sounds absolutely fantastic in here. Let's just let this play for a little bit. Been thinking about you all night. I've been searching for this all my life. But just my type. Been looking for a boy who treat me right. Your dark hair, your eyes so bright. You're looking for my soul and it sparks my life. Can I take you there? Take you there? Like it was the first time. Do you remember? Can I take you there? Back to when we felt like this was forever. Can I take you there? Like it was the first time. Do you remember? Can I take you there? You're So, of course, this thing sounds absolutely amazing. Tuning is a critical part of that, making sure everything's mounted very tight, secure. I flipped the lights off so I could show the subwoofer off for a little bit. We'll go ahead and turn the lights back on here. So if you're looking at getting some audio work done, give us a call down here at Sweet Sounds. You know, it's really important to go through and design these systems so that they will work the way you want them to on the water. This system is set up so that you can run the front speaker separately, the rear speaker separately, and since they do float around quite a bit with that rear speaker as high up it is, that will actually generate pretty good sound out on the water without having to have a tower in here. So if you're looking at getting some work done, give us a call. Sweet Sounds Mankato, Minnesota, your marine audio experts in southern Minnesota. Check us out on our website, sweetsounds.com, and I'll put a little blurb up in our photo gallery with some more pictures of this entire install too. So, Jeff, Sweet Sounds, take care.